Hey everybody, coming out with another custom showcase. At least it's custom for Omni-Man. A slight mod for the BMS Toys Return of the King, aka Kingdom Come Superman. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about these guys today. But first, I want to get a couple of things out of the way. First off, I want to talk about I have ordered I've received the Mezco Catwoman. She was on sale for from Big Bad Toy Store for I want to say like $56, but I got her out of the package, and as soon as I moved her that'd be her left knee, it fucking snapped. Like I was moving it super carefully, super slow, and then crack. But that's okay because the knees on this figure suck anyways. So do the elbows. I really like the torso articulation and the accessories. So I think what I'm going to do is I am just going to take the figure apart and swap it with pieces from my own custom Catwoman that I've made. If it'll focus. There. But basically she is like a stripped down Marvel Legends Riders Black Widow. I removed the little logo there. And then I put the hands, the whip and the head from the Arkham Knight, I think. I can't remember. Catwoman onto this body. And I think it ends up looking really nice. But yeah, so expect that in the future. And another thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly is I know my reviews aren't exactly the most organized thing in the world, and I'd really like to work on that moving forward. Actually, let me even adjust the camera slightly. Not quite centered. All right. Sorry, that was bugging me. But going forward, whenever I talk about figures, I want to talk about the some individual little component parts in the order in which they mean to me. So first off, scale is really important to me. I think that might be the one of the biggest deciding factors. And then articulation, detail, accessories, and then overall feel for the figure. Those are things that I want to try and talk about more as I continue to review my figures and my customs. But since that's out of the way, I want to talk about how these two guys came together. So originally, let me just adjust the frame a little bit more. Sorry. So originally, like I said, I believe this is a GW Toys strong body that I ordered originally to do my Shazam custom. And in that video, my last video, I explained the whole process, all the different figures that went into that Shazam figure, and how I actually stopped. I took that Shazam, my custom Shazam, the first one, apart, so then I could use the body for Omni-Man. I think honestly, I think it turned out really well. Like the more I look at this, the more I'm just like in love. So for those of you who don't know about the Invincible comics, this is the suit that Omni-Man gets after he breaks out from the Viltrumite prison. Or, excuse me, I guess it's more like Alan and him break out. But, yeah. So, the only thing I really tweaked Well, first I'll say where I got the suit and the cape from, and that is from Seaford Charles on eBay. I'll try and leave a link in the description for his stuff, but I've seen his costumes and stuff all over YouTube with different people. He was actually the first person I looked through to see if he had a Black Bolt costume. Way back whenever I did my Black Bolt costume. But yeah, so the head of Omni-Man comes from the Diamond Select Omni-Man, and he even kept his alternate head here. And by default, the body has just like this rather thin neck peg. Actually, the stock one is a little shorter. This is an alternate one that it came with. And then what I did, because the connection isn't super secure on the head, I just shoved some, years ago, I accidentally stole some charcoal eraser from my school. And I've been using it on figures and stuff to keep heads attached. And I tried and true method for doing that is just shoving a wad of it up inside the head. But I don't think that's not very economical for the use of the charcoal eraser. And it also doesn't really look great. So I just tried to do it as cleanly as I could. And I figured that the best way to do that would just be shove it up inside the head. And I think that turned out pretty well. But the hands actually come from the BMS Toys Superman, or BMS Toys Return of the King. And the hands I have on Superman are actually the ones from the bootleg Shazam. And I just really like the way that they look on this figure. I think that, the stock hands are a little bit small, and so these ones are like some real mitts. Like, he looks like he's gonna slug down with someone. And I feel like that's some of the vibes I want for Superman. He's gotta look, like solid. He's gotta have that real sort of brawler build. So, yeah. I guess I'll go over articulation. Well, actually, first off, we'll get some size comparisons out of the way. So here we have the Mezco Superman Man of Steel edition. As you can see, they are... So Omni-Man is actually just slightly shorter than Superman. And then the Kingdom Come Superman is slightly bigger. I don't really have a problem with that, because it's not like, it's not... Oh, actually, it is kind of huge for the the Kingdom Come Superman, but, in a display, you can kind of fudge it. And then, of course, you gotta have Homelander. So here's the Mafex Homelander from The Boys. He's kind of covering his face. I didn't feel like switching out his hands. But he is, again, just about the same height as Omni-Man, which I like. And of course, if they were to fight, we all know Omni-Man is slaughtering Homelander. Homelander ain't got shit. Homelander is probably the weakest of the Superman clones. Sorry, I sat Homelander down off screen and he immediately fell over. I don't think he approved of my comment. But yeah. I might do a video at some point about all the different Superman adjacent figures I have. It's because it's one of my favorite things is... One of my favorite tropes, I suppose, in comics is Superman, but it's not Superman. Because I love Superman. Superman's one of my favorite characters ever. And I know a lot of people disagree with that, but I find him to be very charming and endearing, and he's just a nice change of pace most of the time. Granted, Kingdom Come Superman is a little bit darker, but I would argue he's ahead of the curve, because Kingdom Come, I think, came out in like 96 or something like that, well before any of these like evil Supermen got their start, and it became like a mainstream thing. And even then, he's more morally gray than he is evil, and by the end of the story, he's a changed man. But, I could talk about Kingdom Come all day, and in fact, I did have a podcast about it ages ago. I do not recommend you go listen to it, because I didn't make any notes, and I was sick. So, it's a little bit incoherent. But, yeah, so, this is the video talking about these two. Oh wait, no. I didn't talk about articulation. Duh. So, I guess we'll start with him first. Soups. I'm gonna get a little bit of a wider angle, wider shot. You have a better look at him. Alright. Raise up the camera a little bit. There we go. Okay. So, he looks up that much, which is really nice for a Superman figure. You're gonna be getting him in flying poses and stuff. And you can look down a little bit. You know, he's got, pretty sure it's a double ball peg in there. So he's got, some nice tiltage, turns. Not actually 360. There's some hitting around the neck, because the neck is sculpted to be really close up on the underside of the head. I guess a minor complaint with both of these is that the cape is not wired, but, it is more a nitpick than anything. I just prefer cloth capes over sculpted capes anytime, regardless as to whether or not they are wired. So, moving forward with the articulation, arm moves out about that much. Costume kind of wants to get caught in the seam a little bit, but not really. You can kind of see the joints up in there. So, he's got, bicep swivel, and it almost wants to go all the way, but I don't want to push it just because of the fabric. But yeah, that's the range for his elbow, and then it's got a hinge swivel at the wrist, and these hands fit on there just very loosely. Like it's not going to fall off on its own, but I don't like to move it too much, just in case it pops off. But yeah, he'll go forward. You're in and out, swinging it around. Woo. I'm gonna get him showing off his pythons. But, let me get that wrist peg realigned. Alright. And then moves forward. Actually, that's a crazy amount. I forget how articulated this figure is sometimes. And back that much. That is crazy. Especially for a Superman. Superman, I don't think, really needs a whole lot of range of motion, but it is definitely appreciated. Does he have a thigh swivel? Oh, a little bit. I think he has a thigh swivel insofar as there's just like a lot of room up in the joint. So you just kind of get a little bit of that. And then back, not really a whole lot. Forward, a decent bit. That's like pretty good. Knees. He cannot kick his own butt, unfortunately. Boot swivel, and then I think a double ball joint here at the ankle. And you can get pivot, forward and back. You know, your necessities. I need to get him standing down here at least. Alright, that's that's fair enough. He looks a little bit cattywampus, but that's okay. Now, Omni-Man. I just called him Superman again. So, the neck is a little bit limited for a couple of reasons. You're not getting a lot of movement up at the connection to the head. Most of this movement is just from the neck. And also, Omni-Man's hair comes down to this point at the back of his head, and that inhibits him from looking up more. But the way I have it set up now, he can look up that much, which isn't bad. But, you know, it's a little bit to be desired. I'll see if I can do anything for that in the future. It looks down that much, which is okay, because that's forward. It's down. It's not great. But, the arms move out this much. The costume does not get in the way at all. Well, I guess before we go on, I'll say how I secured the costume. So, the way that these work is there's a slit on the back, and I just put him up inside of that, and then I glued these little bits together here just so it wasn't open and flapping about. And then, oh, get your cape out of your face. I glued the cape here on his shoulders. But yeah, this is as far down as the arms go, so he kind of always has the, like, Jim Chad, like, gorilla arms a little bit, but it's not that bad. Plus, I think we all know Omni-Man would kind of be a gorilla Chad. But he's, the arms go up that much. Again, I don't super want to test the print here on the costume, even though it is a very nice material. I just don't want to mess it up. But the elbows go in that much. So that's about 90 degrees. I think it's a little bit more if I got the costume out of the way, but not a whole lot. And then, same as Superman, you know, you got the hinge swivel at the wrist, and, let's see, and then for the torso, looks back that much. So this is like, that's the flying poses you'd be able to get him in. That's not bad. That's good. I mean, obviously, you know, the more movement, the better, but that's alright. Crunches forward that much, which, it's not awful, but it's much better than the range of motion that fucking Diamond Select Omni-Man had. I don't want to say I hate the figure, but I kind of hate the figure. The Diamond Select one. It has... actually, I have the... Alright, tangent time. We're talking about the Diamond Select Omni-Man. So here's the body. As you can see, he is much taller than the stock, or than my custom. And the articulation on this guy sucks ass. Like, there is virtually no torso movement. There's none backwards, barely any forwards. The arms are super stiff, and I should also mention, I put a cape on here. The stock cape actively interferes with the amount of articulation that is already limited. So, this will do a 360, but stock that will not. I got a bicep swivel, and look at that. That's just, that's so lame. The only thing I really like about this figure was his accessories. Yeah, but it's got the old, outdated, ancient-ass DC Universe Classics style hip joints. Like, how are we still using these, dude? How have... This is from Diamond Select. I know that they have ball joints. And then, ugly ass thigh cut. Single jointed knees. Ugh, that's not even like 90. That's pathetic. Get this out of my face. Fuck you. But that figure is actually the reason why I made this one. Because I really like Omni-Man as a character. And I was like, I'll be damned if my only representation of him is that shitty-ass Diamond Select one. Rant over, back to articulation. Oh, I forgot, yeah. Because of he's got ball joints up in there, so you can get him swiveling around. And then he's got ball jointed hips, so you do get, again, the pseudo thigh swivel. Legs move up that much, again, not bad. Back that much. And then double jointed knee. Again, he's not kicking his own ass, but that's okay. And then a similar articulation scheme with the hands, where he's got the swivel hinge swivel. That's what it's called. My brain like bogged down for a second. It's too rageful at the old Omni-Man. But yeah. So here he is, back in the neutral pose. I know that this video is a little bit long and a little bit ranty, but I figured if I'm going to be talking about these things, I should tell you why I'm making them, other than just I want to. And I wanted to also put out there that I wanted to update my content a little bit, in that the added criteria that I want to go and talk about moving forward. And of course, some upcoming things that I want to work on. The Catwoman. I recently got the Space Venom Mania 2-pack, and as you can see, I already have a little bit of a modification. And I gave her fists. If autofocus will work, please. There we go. Alright. But there's still a couple of mods I want to do to her. These fists are from the Claire Temple Luke Cage 2-pack. I don't know where the figure went, but I just had these hands in my hand bin, so I used my trusty old Chaos Black Citadel primer, hit him with a couple sprays from every angle, and bada bing bada boom, you got yourself some nice black hands.